There is a fundamental issue with the story of Chanuka that is raised by the Pnei Yoshua in Maseches Shabbos on Daf Chaf Aleph Amud Beis. The Pnei Yoshua wonders about the basic story, as we know, which describes the one tahor flask of oil which only had enough oil to last for one night and ended up lasting miraculously for 8 nights, giving us the 8 nights of celebrating Chanuka. The Pnei Yoshua wonders why this miracle was necessary at all. There is a halacha called Tumah Hutra B'tzibur, which allows us to light the menorah with tameh oil when no tahor oil is available. Why then was it necessary for Hashem to even perform this nes to allow us to have tahor oil for the menorah? In order to answer the question, the Pnei Yoshua makes reference to a Gemara in Maseches Yuma, on Daf Lamed Tes Amud Aleph, which describes many things that were lacking in the second Beis Hamikdash after the death of Shimon HaTzadik, one of which being that the Ner Ma'aravi no longer burns constantly. The Ner Ma'aravi, one of the candles on the menorah, would miraculously, in the times of Bayis Rishon, always burn, miraculously beyond the amount that it should have burned. It would always burn, and that would serve as an edus sha'ashchina shora b'Yisrael. It would serve as a sign that Hashem's Shechina resided among Klal Yisrael. The ever-presence of that magnificent, miraculous nes would be a testament to Hashem's presence among the Jewish people. In the beginning of Bayis Sheni, that miracle presided as well, and after the death of Shimon HaTzadik, sometimes it would happen and sometimes it would not. Klal Yisrael, after that point, were no longer in a state of such Giloi Panim that Hashem provided such open miracles for them. Pnei Yoshua writes that after the victory of Chanuka, after what Klal Yisrael accomplished in the times of Chanuka, when they overcame the Yavanim, maintained their Emunah, came back and restored the Beis HaMikdash, so Hashem showed Klal Yisrael that they had at that point returned, in some sense, to their original status, where they merited to have Shechina Shora b'Yisrael. That just like the nes of the Ner Ma'aravi would be evidence that when the candle would burn longer than it should have, that was an ongoing evidence to Hashem's Shechina among Klal Yisrael. So Chanuka was a flashback, if you will, to that time when we had the Ner Ma'aravi burning for that long. And the Chanuka candles burning for 8 days was for no other purpose than a testament that Chazru l'chibasan harishona, that Klal Yisrael had returned to their original beloved status before Hashem, and we merited such an open miracle. This perspective of the Pnei Yoshua has roots in a comment of the Navi Chagai. The Navi Chagai in Perek Beis describes how when Klal Yisrael returned to Eretz Yisrael and to Yerushalayim in the times of the second Beis Hamikdash, so those who were old enough to have remembered the first Beis Hamikdash and they came and they saw the second Beis Hamikdash, they were disappointed. And they saw a second Beis Hamikdash which did not live up to the stature of the first Beis Hamikdash. They saw a second Beis Hamikdash which was lacking many things that the first Beis Hamikdash had. And the Navi Chagai describes how Hashem says to these people that we're looking at a structure, we're looking at a Beis Hamikdash which does not have the stature of the first Beis Hamikdash, but there will come a time during the second Beis Hamikdash where Hashem will perform a great nes, and Hashem will demonstrate the glory, the kavod that resides even within this second Beis Hamikdash. And Rashi writes, Chagai Perek Beis, that is a reference to the nes of Chanuka. That through the nes of Chanuka, Hashem demonstrated that although the second Beis Hamikdash seemed to have been lacking in many ways, although the second Beis Hamikdash was not as miraculous and did not possess the ongoing open miracles that the first Beis Hamikdash did, through the nes of Chanuka, Hashem showed that this Beis Hamikdash has kavod as well. Hashem showed that the miracles reside in Klal Yisrael now as well, even though they are not as apparent and not as ongoing as they once were. The Gemara tells us in Maseches Yuma, on Daf Chaf Tes Amud Aleph, the Gemara writes that the story of Purim was the last of the Nisim. The Gemara asks, is that really true that Purim was the last of the Nisim? What about Chanuka? Wasn't there still the nes of Chanuka? And the Gemara answers, Nitna li kasev ka'amrina. And that's true. Purim was the last nes that was written down, but there was a nes after Purim, and that was Chanuka. And the implication of the Gemara is that was the end of the Nisim, until Mashiach arrives, the last nace that we have to hold on to is the nace of Chanuka. And that nace of the nace Shemen, which showed us for no other purpose, the nace of the Shemen to show us that although Klal Yisrael were living in a time that did not see apparent Giloi Shechina, that did not see open miracles, it was a time period which operated more on the surface naturally, where Hashem's presence was concealed behind the scenes. Chanukah was a glimpse. Chanukah gave the clarity that Klal Yisrael still do possess that status of chiba before Hashem. And perhaps part of the message, part of the celebration of Chanukah, is Chanukah as the last of the Nisim. Chanukah as the nace which Klal Yisrael take with them into Galus, that throughout the years of Galus, the last of the Nisim we have to hold on to is the nace of Chanukah. Chanukah reminds us that even in a world of Hester Panim, even in a world which seems to operate according to a natural order, and we don't see open natural miracles with the clarity like we once had in the times of Bayis Rishon, like the times that we once had when we used to see miracles like the Ner Ma'arav, we used to see open miracles occurring on an ongoing basis for Klal Yisrael. The Nes Chanukah reminds us that even in such times, we maintain a status of chiba before Hashem, and there will come a time once again that we will see such open miracles, and we will see Hashem's presence in our midst with clarity. We should be zocheh to see it. The Meir Rabbi.